Hello guys, my name is Nagastrike and welcome here to another video. In today's build guide, we're going to take a look at one of my personal favorite guns, the Eagle, and I'm going to explain to you guys why I think this is the perfect time to make this video. So, the Eagle gun is a gun where you can fire a single round if you're grounded. It doesn't do very much damage, it doesn't knock the opponent down, it's super laggy, it's pretty bad. But if you fire it in the air, it delays and sits there, and there's almost no lag on it. And after like a second or so, it'll fire off and home in on your opponent, and obviously you can spam that. So those of you familiar with the Eagle gun, let's go ahead and talk about some of my other part choices and why I like them. I'm going to go ahead and say Glaive is definitely my favorite bot to use this with, because Strike Vanisher with Eagle I think is my personal favorite. I really like Aerial Beauty a lot as well, but Strike Vanisher just has those iframes on the teleport, so that gives you that little extra amount of pressure by being able to dodge around your opponent's shots and apply more Eagles to the battlefield at the same time. Acrobat is required for this build, I think, because that's going to help you get off on the ground, and it's going to help you not get punished when you're landing, and that's huge. The ability to put an Acrobat Bomb on your landing and go back up and put more Eagles out until you feel like you can land in a safe position, that just opens up so much more variety in your gameplay and ways to mix it up. So as for pods, first, let me say the legs. With Strike Vanisher, you typically want to do the short thrust, but I still think that with the Acrobat, you want to go feather just to get that extra height so you can spam more Eagles. As for pod on this build, there's so many options, and I haven't decided on like one steadfast pod that I really like. But let me just go through all these pages and tell you some of the pods that I've used and my thoughts on them. So first up we have Spider. And Spider's pretty much been pretty big on a lot of zoning builds in our scene here lately. So if you're ever in a pressure situation, you can just put spiders down like right on top of you and make your opponent be forced to back off or eat some damage, and at least trade with them if you're getting comboed. Other than that, you're going to be flying around the map, setting up your Eagles. This gives you the extra little bit of pressure. You can set up the spiders on the ground while you're doing that, and just cut off some of their routes where they can run around, and eventually they'll have nowhere to run and hide from your Eagles. So Spider's a pretty solid choice. Ground Freeze is also really good because kind of like the Spiders, you can set them up, and that kind of cuts off like little options for your opponent. And if you do tag them with the freeze, then you can set up like a bunch of Eagles while they're in hit stun, they're frozen. Unfortunately, I think Spider is the better choice because, like I said, like if you get knocked down and you're in an Okazemi or a wake up situation, Ground Freeze isn't gonna like force your opponent to back off like Spider would. I don't think Sky Freeze is very good. Ground Freeze is just better. You're just gonna end up limiting yourself with Sky Freeze because you want to be in the air a lot. Diving is also a really good pod. It pressures your opponent a little bit, and you can throw it in front of you it'll follow them and take the pressure off as well. I like Wave. It controls like a little bit of space in front of you. If you're up in the air setting up Eagles and they just want to sit behind a wall, you just throw a wave out. They're either going to get hit by the wave or they're going to run out, and then they're going to have to deal with your Eagle pressure. So that's a good option. I do think Wall is a little bit better than Wave, however, because it's a lot better on the Okazemi or Wake Up situation. You can just throw it out there on your Wake Up, and if your opponent's up in your face trying to pressure you, they're going to eat a lot of damage for not respecting your wall pod, basically. Reflection is an option, like if you're worried about them just running around the ground a lot, like maybe they're using like a Shining Fighter with stabilizer legs, or they're using a Little Raider. You can control a lot of ground space with Reflection, and that'll help you air camp a little bit better against those kind of bots. Other than that, like I guess you have Double Wave, but that doesn't really help you like in a wake up situation. And that's actually excuse me, Titan Pod is actually kind of decent because it explodes like very shortly after you fire it. However, I do think that the blast radius is a little bit too big on it to make this pod a little bit viable, because you're going to end up hitting yourself most of the time. If you want to back your opponent off, it will do that, but you're going to end up hitting yourself. And if you're in a wake-up situation, you're already in a bad spot, you've already just ate a combo, so that's just not good. So I usually roll with the spider. And Penumbra 1, let's talk about this pod. This pod just got legal. If you guys haven't kept up with the meta, we are starting to experiment with all kinds of illegal parts, and some of them have been unbanned. We're trying new ones like every week, 2 weeks or so. The list is changing. Penumbra 1 just got unbanned, and let me tell you, this pod is insane. So that brings me to my third bot, Tank Head. All the funky big heads, you know, you can air camp like way higher. And normally I wouldn't do this because it's just better to have like the iframes with glaive, and you can spread your eagles around the map better with your more horizontal mobility and not your vertical mobility, because you can still get punished while you're up there throwing out the eagles, and then all your eagles will disappear, and that's not good. You don't want that. But Penumbra Pod, let me tell you, this thing makes air camping that much better, because imagine diving and Seeker on crack. This pod is insane. It lasts for 10 years. It follows your opponent. You can spit it out right in front of you, and it'll take the pressure off. You can use it full screen. It will pressure them. And now they have to deal with this running around trying to get them while they're trying to deal with your eagle. So let me shut up for a second and get into a match, because I feel like I've been talking an awful lot. So let's play a little bit and cool off. Alright, so as you can see, I'm kind of just spreading the eagles around the field. Acrobat gets me in the air. I can use my air dash if my opponent fires at me. That's typically how you want to start. You want to acrobat, so now you have an eagle set up, and you just see what your opponent does. If I shoot, you can iframe through it, set up more eagles, and of course you have 2 more dashes as well. And now, this is also why glaive is one of my favorites. Not only because of that, but this collision right here, that already puts you in the air. You can set up an eagle, you can acro cancel. It's just so good. And then obviously you can air dash around and set up your spiders. Now also let me showcase this Penumbra pod and why it's insane. So a funky big head, you know, you can just fly up here, you can air strafe a little bit. But look, now they gotta deal with these penumbras, and that's just insane. Let me see if he'll knock me down. Come on, come on, come on, almost there. You got it, I believe in you. I believe. There we go. And now, I'm rebirthing right here on my Okazumi, and obviously this computer's probably not gonna do much, but you know, in a normal situation when you're playing against a competent player, they're probably going to pressure you. And see, I can just shit these out. He's got to back off, because if not, he's just going to eat shit from those. And another cool thing about the Penumbra pod is with the way it blows them up, it'll, if you've already expended your dashes, that like leaves you straight up in the air. And you can like follow that up with whatever you want, really. Another reason why you take Acrobat is if you see there, you get shot and you get down, all of your eagles disappear. It does not matter how many you have on the stage. It does not matter if it's about to hit them. They're gone instantaneously. They will not get hit. So, a good strat. Let me see if I can get them to hit me real quick. One more. Come on. Shoot me, buddy. There you go. So you can knock yourself down with the Acrobat Bomb, right? So when you knock yourself down with the Acrobat Bomb, you actually do not take any damage, so it does not break all your eagles. So what you can do in a pinch situation is you can have all your eagles set up, you can land, and you can Acrobat Bomb yourself, knock yourself down, and then all your eagles will still get them while you are knocked down. And then if they do try to shoot you, your eagles are going to punish them for that, and you're going to take reduced damage since you're already knocked down. And that's basically it for the guide, guys. I wanted to try and keep it a little bit shorter and sweeter this time. Just run around, spam the eagles around the field, make it hard for your opponent to deal with. Play really passive, really safe, you know. Only really throw out the eagles if you like know your opponent's in lag, or if it's pretty lagless, so you can throw out like one here and there whenever you're just in neutral, nobody's doing anything. But don't do 2 or more, because then you'll just get punished for it, and then you'll lose all your eagles, all your momentum, and probably the game. But Eagle is so good at stalling out the timer, guys. So if you want, what I like to do is I like to pair it with a really strong, like hard-hitting weapon, like say Hornet, for example. You know, you have this really up-close weapon, boom, you shoot them 300 damage, you camp the air with Eagles, nurse your lead. That's one thing that Eagle excels at. Eagle's a pretty bad gun, even though, like, I love it with all my heart. I'm always gonna try to play Eagle, I'm always gonna try to make it work. But the one thing you can't deny that it is really good at is whenever you have the life lead, the Eagle has the advantage over anything in the game, hands down. Because if you use Glaive, like even things like Homing Star, you might think like, oh, well, Acro Cancel Homing Star. Well, Glaive, you just iframe through it, set up more Eagles, there's nothing they can do. Like, as long as you play safe, you can air strafe or air dash through or around any projectile that they throw at you, really. So I'm just going to go ahead and wrap that up then. That's my Eagle build guide, Acro Eagle. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe. Peace.